Recovering normal is part of the gig, too, when you're a traveling yoga teacher. People think being a yoga teacher means you are always chill and never grumpy, your mental outlook is radical contentment, and your body is outrageously flexible in a sexy way. But that is not the case. Not for this yoga teacher, anyway. Well, actually, I am extremely flexible. That part is true. But the other parts come and go, depending on how much sleep I get, what I eat for breakfast, how much money I have in the bank, what's happening between me and my husband David, or how many time zones I crossed in the last 24 hours. Perhaps that sounds quite ordinary and distinctly non-yogic, but without all that normal stuff in my life, I wouldn't be a very good yoga teacher. How can I help others grow and transform if I haven't done it myself? Another thing that many people don't realize is that yoga teachers are not born as yoga teachers. We are not born standing on our hands or doing the splits, although I did all those things in my backyard when I was a kid and then just never stopped. Many American yoga teachers like me are regular people who have had the great fortune to be introduced to the path of yoga in our lifetime. For me, doing yoga is pure fun. I love twisting and bending, inverting and jumping on my yoga mat. I thrive on the hard work of standing on one leg while keeping my face soft and open. I find bending over and folding in half a delicious release. I especially enjoy the ending of each class when the teacher instructs us to lie down and rest, telling us this is the most important part of the practice. The clean, sweaty feeling I get from yoga is physically global, purifying me inside and out. Every part of my body is opened up and then put back together, reintegrated into a better shape than before yoga. From the first day of practicing, I could feel my inner organs getting toned, along with my triceps and quadriceps. My heart got stronger, my stamina improved, and one day I discovered that it had gotten easy to lift heavy objects over my head, such as a carry-on bag, into the overhead bin of an airplane. Most surprising is that I began to focus on the immediate experiences I was having in yoga at the same time that I was having them. A bigger view of the practice than just being satisfied with short-term goals, such as being able to touch my toes or turn upside down and inside out. I had been studying ballet since I was 7, so I was very familiar with extreme movement scenarios. What was different about yoga is that it isn't really about the external activity. It's about what's going on inside. It's not about what we do as much as how we do what we do. I began to understand that this is the part of yoga that really matters. I studied yoga with as many masters as I could get to, including the great yoga master B.K.S. Iyengar, who told me and the other 899 yoga students in class that day, "I've spent almost my whole life observing what happens to my sternum when I press my big toe down." In other words, yoga is about more than moving the body. It is a template for understanding that every thought really does become speech, which turns into action. If the yogi practices with this awareness, she will also become curious and conscious about the results of her actions, making her a better wife, mother, friend, and businesswoman. Hearing my yoga teachers talk about this eventually led me to the path of Buddhist meditation, where I learned and practiced specific skills for negotiating all the different mind states that arise on any given day. That doesn't mean I am always successful. It means I am working on it. In just the same way, I'm still working on becoming more adept at doing the yoga postures. I want my mind to be as flexible as my body, and my heart to be as open as my hip joints. And once you get flexible and strong, you can't stop the work. You have to keep practicing, with more refinement, more awareness, more skill, in order to maintain and grow your abilities and your understanding. I know all this and have made it my long-term goal, which in yoga means lifetimes, but like anyone else, I sometimes feel defeated by circumstances. These days, there is a lot of pressure on yoga teachers. We can't just lead people through a sequence of asanas. We are expected to always act positive, be smart, and to look, if not glamorous, at least extra good. For one thing, people take pictures of me all the time, usually when I'm bending over to adjust a student's yoga position and my butt is looming large, or when I'm exhausted and wearing my funkiest yoga clothes dragged from the bottom of the drawer, or when I'm giving